When you're young and you're climbing up the first mountain and your ego's involved and you're doing all the right things and you're buying a home and raising a family and doing all the good things, and then you come into a valley, and the valley is the thing that really differentiates people. I grew up in Rockville Center, New York. My parents were terrific people. They raised two sons to be independent thinkers, to run their own lives. The values that my parents always talked about and taught us to believe in is honesty, actions have consequences, and to always be positive. Besides a fireman and a policeman, I knew I wanted to be a doctor until I volunteered at the hospital and realized I didn't want to be a doctor. Then at one point I said maybe I want to be a lawyer, and then it just fell into the line that I wanted to go to business school. My roommate at the time worked for Saks Fifth Avenue. I applied there because I needed a job. That experience lasted for 10 years. We moved all over the country with Saks. I said, this is no way to raise a family. It wasn't fair to our children. We were leaving Saks, no questions asked. We were getting out of there. And Bonnie's brother had a retail business in Honesdale. And he knew of this family clothing store. It's like a junior department store kind of thing that was for sale. We ended up buying it. And we moved to Honesdale because it was best for the business for us to live in Honesdale. I was president of the Honesdale Business Association. Bonnie was president of the Hospital Auxiliary at one point. I realized that the one store in Honesdale was not going to be sufficient to really support my family in the way that I would like to. We were undercapitalized. We closed the sweater stores fairly quickly, and it really damaged the financial stability of our Honesdale operation.
It may have been a frustrating period more for Ken because he was the one that was actually running the business.
Declaring bankruptcy and shortchanging anybody, and just because you can doesn't mean you should. I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills, and I didn't know how I was going to send my kids to college, but somehow we found the money, and somehow we found the way.
He was proactive. He closed the store. Before he closed the store, he did have a plan, and he was working for someone in New York.
Going back and forth between Honesdale and New York, you have to have the guts to take the risk. There's an opportunity out there, you have to recognize the opportunity, and then you have to take advantage of the opportunity. We branded ourselves as IAB, and that's the way it's stayed ever since, and that was since 1993. We work for the manufacturers, and we research the disputes to see who's right and who's wrong, and then if the retailer is wrong, we collect money from the retailer on behalf of the manufacturer. Getting out of the way of the really good people that work for the company and let them do their job, and because they were far better at that. I was good at what I did. They were great at what they did. We took like half of our annual advertising budget and we dumped it into the donation to a credit organization, but it was very important for us to give back to the community that was supporting us, and that's one of the reasons that we've been successful.
He's passionate about whatever he believes in. I think the people feel that he's selling to.
The industry existed. I just exploited it. And there were really two major players, and we became more and more and more competitive, even to the point where the other company wanted to buy us, and we chose not to sell to them. Cancer is a really scary word. The first way to do this is to have the best medical care that you can possibly find. The second part is to have a gatekeeper. And the gatekeeper, it was Barbara J. Ehrenberg Green. Bonnie was my gatekeeper. She took care of everything, and she was always an anchor, and she was always grounded.
The best advice that I would give to anybody is laugh together, have fun together.
And we could harmonize with my mother at very early ages. So my brother's song was Jimmy Crack Corn, and mine was My Darling Clementine, and that's just the way it was. I didn't get into painting until about 4.5 years ago. My friends went to this painting class and they said, you should come too. So I did. The colors may not be quite as crisp, but they're darn near as crisp. My first painting, one of them is in the office and the other one's upstairs. That one, somebody asked me, that would be for sale. I would sell that one. You're always thinking of new ways to do things, to manage, to create incentives for people, new ways to build your company or your business or your life. Taking a risk, having a vision of what can be successful, although you don't know it will be successful, and sticking up for what you believe is right, although it may not be the popular thing. Swallowing hard, not letting your ego drive you, that can be a way of being brave as well. We took those risks. They paid off more often than they didn't.
If I were to write a thank you note to Ken, I would say, Ken, thank you for our lives together.
I wanted to be the one in front. I wanted to be the one with the most novel ideas.
Life is a journey, and everyone is going to hit hills and valleys.
My philosophy of life is to A, be positive, be careful, be thoughtful, and always look to the future, because the future has promises.
What a wonderful world. Yes, I say to myself, what a wonderful world.